Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome back to the Pageant Sit Down. My name's Regina Lena, and I am so happy for all of you to be with us today. Most especially because if you are new to the channel, hi, welcome. I was the former Ms. Galaxy Canada 2020 to 21, and I'm so excited because I got to pass on my title to maybe one of my favorite, dare I say it, beauty queens. She is none other than the reigning Ms. Galaxy Canada 2022, Natalie. Hello, Natalie.
Hi, Regine, and thank you so much. I didn't know that, and I have to say you actually are my favorite. I was prepared to answer that question in interview if they were to ask, like, who did you admire or look up to as a previous reigning queen? You were the one that I was going to mention, just because of your devotion and your love to the people. So it warms my heart to hear you say that.
You know, we're going to talk a little bit why I said that, but there are some people who are probably like, who is this girl? I've never seen her before. Who are you? So Natalie, can you let our audience know a little bit about yourself?
Of course. Yeah, you're right. That dreaded question, right? So, well, first I'd like to say that the biggest thing that defines me at this point now is that I am a mom. I have 3 beautiful children. I like to talk about my background in business. I owned an international direct sales company. I'm a business coach. I'm also a veteran, so I served in the Canadian Armed Forces. I did underwater warfare. I did that for several years. I'm now a proud beekeeper, so I have about 500,000 bees in my backyard at this point. I do believe in preserving them, as they are heavily declining. So I wanted to do my little part in that. Let me see. I am an avid philanthropist, and I love riding motorcycles as a hobby.
Wow, you're a little bit of everything.
I am.
And now you are the reigning Ms. Galaxy Canada. How does that feel? Like you said you're a beekeeper, you're a mom, you're a veteran, you're an entrepreneur, and now you're a beauty queen. What is that like, and what has it been like for you since I placed the crown on your head?
It's been surreal, and I will say, I have to admit, I have some mornings where I still wake up and I still honestly go humbly, why me? There was so many beautiful women up on the stage with me, and I don't just mean beauty as in this, but I mean just beautiful hearts, beautiful souls, beautiful minds, beautiful women, empowered women that love to give back. So it feels still surreal to me. It's been amazing, honestly. I will say I've never pictured myself as that. You remember that movie, Miss Congeniality? She's like a cop, and she's like so off and like klutzy, and that's me. Like that's me to a T. So it's it's a little bit funny for me to think back of that. It's been surreal, and it's it's allowed me, however, to accept myself a little bit at a higher level, and perhaps even see myself in a different way than I have ever seen myself before. Simply put, because I have been the military girl. I was a football player. I do construction. I flip houses. I invest in business coach. I've never been the pretty, the beauty type girl. I don't know very much how to do my own makeup. I do my makeup with my fingers. I don't have that many brushes. So stepping into this type of position has allowed me to embrace more of my feminine side, where I've kind of pushed it aside or shunned it before. I loved womanhood and I loved supporting women, but I never really fully stepped into my own womanhood myself, which seems a little weird to say, but it's the truth.
Oh, wow. So, okay, really quickly, I just have to ask. You mentioned you're very similar to Miss Congeniality. So, are you an FBI, and did you come to save one of the girls? Or why did you go into Galaxy Canada if that's the case?
Yeah, no, it's funny about that. Yeah, I feel like it, but no, I joined the Galaxy pageant system. Initially, I laughed. My initial expression when I was approached about the possibility of the Galaxy pageants, I didn't laugh at the pageant system. I have full respect, the utmost respect. But I laughed because I thought about about myself. Getting on stage first and foremost, which is terrifying to me. I've had insane fears of stage, speaking in front of others. At some of my fundraisers that I've put on, I didn't even want to be on my own stage. So I've never been the forefront person. But so I laughed because I was like, I couldn't imagine myself in that position, is what I meant to say. And then giving it a thought, and hearing more about the Galaxy pageants and how they more so embrace womanhood and celebrate womanhood, no matter the shape, size, age, background, orientation, anything. And from that, it took me back a little bit, and I was like, wow, the system is different. And then when I heard about more of their philanthropic efforts, and more of how they put a greater spotlight on that, I'll say, then it really got me. Because for me, I always say 80% of who I am is philanthropy. So, then it spoke to me, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to take this leap. It's one of those you only live once, and I took that initial leap of faith in myself, and I guess that was it.
And here you are.
Here I am.
I love it. Earlier off the top of the show, I mentioned one of my favorite BD queens, and that's the reason why. Is for those who are wondering, she just started in pageantry, why is she one of your favorites? Well, I know your story to a degree. I know what is written on paper. I got to meet you in person and see your lives and your stories and all of these things, and getting to know you. And can I just say, your push and your dedication and the amount of work that you've thrown into the title since you won, you make me look bad. And I'm just here like, man, she did a lot in 2 months than I did in 2 years with your title already. And to see how you're able to, because girl, you were nervous. I remember standing there with you when you're ready for interviews, or when we're backstage and you're like, do I look okay in swimsuit? And to see you really push yourself, and to see you thrive on stage, and like, you just shined. The minute you stepped on stage or you stepped into that interview room, your aura changed, and it was all eyes on you. And to me, that's why you're one of my favorites, is to see your resilience as well.
I appreciate that. It's funny that you say resilience. That's been something that I've, like, that specific, I was featured in one of our local books, Women Ready to Rise, and resilience has been a profound word in my world. I'm not going to go into too much details, but from assaults and physical, abuse and various other things to, being a single mom, being injured in the forces, having gone through a ton of things, some pretty extreme things, in my life. Resilience has always been the thing that has kind of stuck through and has carried me forward and pushed me forward when push came to shove. So, I appreciate you recognizing that too. It's kind of you.
It's not hard to see, honestly. Like, I've known you on social media for 2 years, and then having spent a little bit of time with you over the weekend, to be honest, throughout, because for those who don't know, at the Canada Galaxy pageants, as reigning queens, we are with that group of girls throughout the weekend. And to see you push through, and just the dance, and then the interview, I think the interview is where I really saw who you were. You asked me, and I'm sure everyone's like, oh, what did you talk about? It was, you asked if you should change yourself to be like the cookie cutter beauty queen that you see. And I told you to just be yourself. And I'm glad that you did, because here you are on the show and as a reigning queen.
It was the best advice that you could have given me, honestly. I think that's standard for females. We learn to adapt, and we learn to think that we're never the accepted norm, or that there's always something wrong with us, or we don't live up quite to the expectations. And even in our way of being, I'm naturally more shy. I'm naturally more nervous and anxious around too many groups. I am, generally speaking, more not masculine, but I embody more masculine traits. I'm more strong and even like how I walk. A lot of people say you walk very manly, or you have a very powerful walk or whatever. So, I and being surrounded by this many beautiful women, all flowing locks and just stunning women, I was like, I do not belong here. I didn't feel as such. Everyone made me feel welcomed. I don't want that to come across wrong. Everyone made me feel so welcomed and, appreciated, but your advice definitely made an impact on me for sure.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Okay, well, speaking, we have a few people in the chats. We have Scott Dion Brown. He says, good evening. Scott, what are you dressed up as for Halloween? So he streams on his YouTube channel and it's spooky week for him. So I'm curious to know what he's dressed up as tonight. We have Melissa Gregory. She's in the chats. She says, you are wonderful, with 4 heart eye emojis.
Yes. She's saying that to you too, because you are wonderful as well.
She is. There are a few people who are tuned in and I can see that they are watching. If you have any questions for Natalie, whether it be about beekeeping or being a beauty queen or being a mom or being a veteran, anything, feel free to ask in the live chats and I will be sure to ask her. But I am going to go to an Instagram question. One question is, I see you raising funds for many organizations that deal specifically with women. Why is that?
So I've since I was a child, since I was young, I always was the, again, my strong self. And that meant if I had the capacity to protect and be a voice for or stand up for other women, I would do so. And that transpired when that got into my adulthood, even in the military and the forces, when I saw an injustice act against a woman, whether it was physical violence, sexual violence, whether it was just abuse of power or any type of thing like that, I was always a voice for it. I will say there's a part of my life where I did have to stay in a woman's shelter due to domestic violence and, various things. So they helped me out so much. And having lived amongst other women who had been, had their voices stripped or had their physical body assaulted, whether it was physical or sexual or whatever, it gave me a more profound experience and understanding and appreciation for women and when they overcome obstacles. So, at a later date, I created the YQG Masquerade Gala. We collected $12,000 for the hiatus house, which is where I wound up staying. They made a huge impact in my life. And that kind of led me to creating my company, Femme Fatale Parties, where the aim was to create savvy, independent, strong women that, were finally financially stable and secure, where they could, leave abusive relationships because they didn't have no fear of being constrained financially, or, they could support themselves. And if they had a child, anything with women empowerment has always been a big part of who I am, 100%. I think that's why I appreciate it. Actually, even in the pageants itself, I loved to see that sisterhood. I speak of it all the time. It was such a great experience just seeing it, from afar, and then being a part of it as well. It was incredible.
Well, I just got goosebumps as you were talking. Well, first off, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing a part of your story with everyone. Melissa Gregory actually asked, how did you start your non-for-profit? I guess you kind of touched a little bit with that, but how did you start your non-for-profit?
Yeah. So YQG Cares, prior to it being YQG Cares, it was a hashtag I created, and I would slap it on some of my events. We created the gala. I would do a lot for our homeless, and I do stuff for our veterans as well, not only in our local region, but across Canada. YQG Cares just kind of became a nonprofit when I recognized that I couldn't help the whole world by myself. Ever since I was a teenager, I've been sponsoring children. I've been doing things. I've been doing stuff for homeless ever since I was a high school student. It's always been a big part of who I was, but it was taking a toll on my wallet, I'll say. And when I started doing sleeping bag drives, and when I started doing larger events in our community and larger drives, a lot of times it was at my own expense. And I am a single mom of 3 kids. I have, all of my bills and just, life happens. So I started to kind of reach out to my close community around me, and I saw that I could, with less effort, do more by having the collective power of the people around me. And then it became, the power of the collective, and I started to reach out to the full community, the whole YQG area, which is Windsor Essex region. Those are airport coordinates. The YQG is for Windsor's coordinates. The reason why I chose that is because I was getting my pilot's license and I was all about at that time. But yeah, no, it grew from a need to want to do more in my community and have a bigger reach out there and do bigger work. So so I started the YQG Cares, got some board members, and we expanded our horizons.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of posts about it. So what is going on with your non-for-profit nowadays?
Right now, we are in the midst of finishing one of our most recent projects, which was breaking the stigma, the untold stories of life during and after the streets. So we got 10 homeless individuals. We gave them a whole makeover, haircut, a whole new wardrobe.
Wow.
We interviewed them to kind of get their life story, how they wound up on the streets, what they wish the public would know about them, kind of like what their future aspirations are. We're getting new resumes built for them, and we're going to share their stories out to the public. So that's one project I'm really excited about. And a lot of my previous efforts, I got to meet one-on-one a lot of these individuals, and these people were pipe fitters and electricians, and they had wives and they had homes, and bad luck struck at the wrong time, and they found themselves on the streets, unable to get out. There are people just like you and I, and it could truly happen. I think it's like 80, it's just a low 80% of the Canadian population is one paycheck away from homelessness. It's an insanely scary number. So when you look at that, I think it provides more understanding, more compassion to them. So that's my goal, is to try to show that these are still people. These are individuals. They have a bad experience. They had a tough break. They're worth even looking at and smiling. They're worth putting in the effort to try to help them change their life around. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, and I'm about to start my sleeping bag drive, which is every year. Annually, we have our sleeping bag drive. That's another project that we're about to commence now.
Amazing. So if people wanted to find out more or want to tune in to see what you're up to, where can they find more information?
For YQG Cares, the website is yqgcares.net. Super simple. And then they can also look at through like Instagram, YQG Cares. There's also a YQG Cares on Facebook as well. There's also my private social media accounts as well, if they wish to see everything that I partake in. As you mentioned, I do a lot. It's just an everyday for me. that type of involved in various projects is pretty standard for me. But yeah, they can find me in any one of those accounts.
Perfect. So I'll put all links in the description after today's episode. So make sure you tune in, follow her, follow everything that she's doing, because like I said, you were crowned 2 months ago and you've already done so much, and I'm just sitting here like, oh my goodness.
I appreciate that very much.
No problem. So another question that I wanted to ask, or not I, but somebody asked on Instagram, is there anything different you would do at internationals compared to nationals?
Oh, very, very, very different. Yes. So I'm sad to admit that for nationals, I was not prepared. As you know, I wasn't prepared as much or at all. And I still had a lot of reservations and a lot of fear. I think primarily fear controlled my actions and my lack of actions. Now I have completely submerged myself in this, and I am fully on board. Every day I take it as I would be letting down my first runner-up if I'm not pushing through every single day. And I need to, kind of just as much as you did, you set a certain platform, you set a certain you allowed, I'm trying to find the words, I'm sorry, but
No
you
worries.
set a precedence for us to follow suit, right? And it was my first day, actually. I put that I hope I make you proud as much as I hope I make my first runner-up and the second runner-up and everybody else. Everyone was just as deserving, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody felt proud. And yes, she should be queen, and it makes sense that she's the reigning queen for this year. So yeah, I definitely want to take that from nationals and make everyone proud, but also I want to be and to stay and to become more ready and more prepared to make the Canada Galaxy pageant system proud as we get ready for internationals next year, whether it's through me getting in better health and shape, whether it's through doing the most appearances to really bring out the name out in our community and really create awareness, whether it's to learn a new skill set, whatever it may be. I'm just wanting to push forth, becoming more prepared every day, to break down my own barriers, like my own self-doubt, my own worthiness issues or whatever that I'm, so I have my internal things that I'm working on in addition to the external factors there. Yeah, very different.
Well, you're definitely making your runner-ups proud. And it's so interesting that you say that, because I don't know if you were paying attention during my final walk, but in my audio, I said to my next successor, do what you can to make your first runner-up proud. So this is wild that you just said that. I was like, either she was listening or this was destined to happen.
Oh, yeah. It's everyone. Right. For me to win means that somebody else had to not win this year. And that's, sad in itself. And I saw the tears, and I saw, the feeling disappointed. And, so I promised myself I was going to make it worth it, and I was going to make them proud 100%.
Well, just note, and this is something that Denise actually said when she was on the show, and something that she says very often is, every person is destined for their title. So that means you were destined for your title. I was destined for my title. I mean, it seems like Windsor was destined for many Galaxy titles. I mean, we have yourself, we have Melanie, we have the Ducosti sisters. Windsor is a hotspot, apparently, for Galaxy winners.
Yeah, a lot of people that even place. Yeah, you're not the first to say that part, but it's true. Just even like our side of Ontario, even in Canada, it's a strong sense or strong presence.
Yeah, because even Caitlin, she was Miss Galaxy Canada 2019. She's also from that side. So, I mean, whatever's going on in your water, keep drinking it, because you guys are creating beauty queens one after another.
Like a gallon after this.
Well, actually, we are at the halfway point. So there is a segment on the show, Natalie, which is 5 tips from a beauty queen. And now that you've experienced what it's like to compete in a pageant, what would be your 5 pageant tips for everyone watching today?
Okay. I guess my first one, something that I didn't do as much. I mean, for other people I was, but my first tip I would say is to prepare yourself, not only in your luggage, which I came over prepared because I was ready to help everybody. I came very prepared in that regard, but I'm talking about physically. Come with your best self, be healthy, have a clean state of mind. If you have things surrounding worthiness and self-doubt, get that in check. And I mean, nobody's ever going to be fully 100%. I mean, maybe people are, but come with your best foot forward and know that you are putting your best foot forward and be confident in that. Definitely come prepared in all segments for sure. Come with sleep, because I feel like I didn't get much sleep. Get some good sleep before you go. Don't be packing until like 4 a.m. like I did. I guess, the confidence in self, that's a huge one. I think that shows with how you answer interview, that shows in your smile when you're taking images, that shows in how you answer, like your the other sisters on stage with you. That shows how you walk on stage. You just, you're putting your best foot forward. Have confidence in that. Have confidence in yourself. And it's funny because I feel like I'm preaching to the choir. You're the one that the whole weekend was like, Natalie, have a little bit more faith in yourself. Have a little bit more confidence. You're here for a reason, Natalie. Even on stage, you made me cry. But and it's funny because it's it's something that somebody could say to you ahead of time, and sometimes it doesn't fully ring true, or you don't fully absorb that until after the fact. And after the fact, you're like, oh, I wish I would have just enjoyed the moment more, or had a little bit more confidence. But if you can, try your best to walk into it already with that mindset, rather than regretting and hoping that you had. Be proud of your uniqueness. Yeah, that would be a good one for sure. For me, like we kind of discussed earlier on in the video, I don't have necessarily the prerequisite, or not the prerequisites, but I'm not generally your standard pageant girl. I didn't even know some of the rules that everybody else just naturally adhered to, and I was just kind of like struck because I didn't know what I was getting into as much. So, for me, I have more of a, I played football and I build houses and I military background, and I understand numbers and science, and I can build anything, but ask me to be, another certain way. And it's very, very difficult for myself. And instead of trying to hide it the way I did, and I was going to wear extensions. Even I asked if I should bring extensions because I wasn't even going to show my real hair. Because I was, I was like, so like, I don't fit in. I have to be more feminine. I have to be this. I have to do that. I have to adhere to the masses, right? And you told me that exactly. Embrace yourself. Be yourself. Be confident in yourself. Embrace that you're unique. That'll make you stand out. And I did learn that very quickly. That standing out and being your true self, you'll exude more genuine traits. You'll exude more confidence. If you are being your true self, definitely naturally you will be more confident. I don't overthink it would be another one for sure. I was almost paralyzed in fear from my overthinking, overthinking that whether I'm doing this right, whether I'm doing that right, instead of just enjoying and taking a minute to breathe. I allowed myself to like get caught up in this whirlwind of what ifs, and I could have done this, or I made the decision for my gown, my fashion wear. There was no more need to be looking at other girls going, oh, what about if I would have done this? Because then I took a few moments where I could have just reflected to do my breathing exercises rather, but instead I was caught up in my head overthinking. And I'll say, yeah, I did say it a few times, but enjoying the moment. It's going to go fast. Enjoying it while it's happening. Enjoy that you're sweaty because you're terrified and you're running backstage. Enjoy the whole thing. Embrace it all, because it does go by like that. And next thing you know, you're like, what happened? And, it's so beautiful. The sisterhood is just so precious and beautiful. I was so stuck in my head. I didn't stop to embrace the laughs and to talk to and get to know more women. I tried my best, but I could have done more, 100%. I should have enjoyed the moment and just been in the moment a little bit more. I didn't eat at first prior to, because I was terrified of being on stage, in a bikini. So I wasn't eating as much. And the other girls were having burgers and drinks and enjoying themselves. And I was so scared to be on stage as I am, instead of just being like, whatever will be, will be. I should have done that a little bit more. I should have just embraced it and enjoyed the moment more, because it does go by very, very quickly. And, you go the rest of your life now going, I should have done this more. So just walk in with it already there. Enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. And those are some amazing tips coming from someone who was not sure what to say. So in the chats, actually, let's see who's there. Vic says hello, and he says, LOL, sleep is important. Yes, sleep is very important. And when you were talking a little bit about your backstory, Scott Dion Brown says, really amazing work with what you're doing with your non-for-profit. And
thank you very much.
And he also says great tips. And speaking of making your runner-up proud, your runner-up is in the chats. Chanel is here. She says, just a few questions actually. The first question is, how do you choose wardrobe for a pageant? Or what are things that catches your eyes and make you want to wear it on stage?
Oh, okay. So for choosing wardrobe, I will tell you.
How did you choose your wardrobe, Natalie?
I chose my wardrobe like a few days before the pageant. I'm being completely open. I know it's not what I should be saying, but we're being authentic and genuine here. So
it happens.
When in Rome, here I am. No, it's I chose mine, yes, very shortly before the pageant started, simply because initially I truly was battling some heavy self-esteem issues and worthiness issues. And I truly didn't feel like I could share the stage with like all of these beautiful women. And I also had never experienced pageantry. I didn't really investigate how it goes. I didn't know what to expect. And I was, paralysis by analysis, and there's like too much going on and you're terrified and you just don't do anything. That was me.
Yeah.
So when I did finally commit like 3 days before or 4 days before, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. Then I was in panic mode. So I did go to various shops. I will say I was on a budget. I didn't want to go completely berserk. So I was trying to find something that was fitting, and I went to Sophie's gown shop is where I got my gown from, and it fit. It was reasonably within budget, and at a time with my time crunch, honestly, I can't give better tips than that. I felt really pretty, and I felt that maybe at a later date I could maybe reuse it. So I was like, okay, it'll be I'm still somebody that has to be things need to make sense. I was like, if I can reuse it, and if it's budget savvy, then yeah, this one makes sense. I wish I had a better answer for that, honestly. I don't though.
At least you're honest, She also asks, would you consider getting a coach for internationals?
I recognize my weaknesses, and I think it's important to do that, not just myself. I think anybody should always be very constantly aware of where their weaknesses lie. I think it's a part of growth. For me, growth mindsets and just growth overall is crucial. I think I just put a post on Instagram about growth, actually. So I recognize that I have so much room to grow. Even in walks, I didn't recognize that you're not supposed to swing your arms as much. I didn't know this. So just in overall, just mindset also, but also what to wear and how to answer questions properly. Which sounds so funny. I would need a coach to answer questions, but it's true. There's a certain way that you guys answer it, and with a certain time, in a time frame, and so it just the overall place. And I wouldn't be doing my best if I didn't get a coach. I wouldn't be doing my best if I just kind of winged it. Again, I wouldn't be doing Galaxy pageants a favor. I wouldn't be doing myself a favor, nor my first runner-up.
If you winged it to internationals, I could tell you Cindy would be like, what is going on?
I promise though, it's not happening. If anything, Cindy has now a couple times told me to calm down, to slow down, because I was like, what about this? What about that?
We know it happens, right? You catch the pageant bug, it happens. You're now excited for what's next. You've now experienced Galaxy, you know what it's like. You've seen the other girls. I mean, don't worry, Cindy, if you're watching this. She won't do that again. But no, there you go. I know those are great questions, actually, Chanel. Again, if anyone is tuned in and if you have questions for Natalie, make sure you leave them in the live chats. I'll be happy to help. Ask them. I did want to ask you, actually. Earlier you mentioned that you are now a beekeeper. What is that like? Because I'm terrified of bees. I'm literally that person that if there's a bee, I'm on the other side of the room. What is it like for you?
I love them. Personally, I am. Okay, so first off, I should start by saying there's a heavy misinformation around bees. And wasps and hornets and yellow jackets, all of that. Generally speaking, you've probably never been stung by a honeybee.
I've never been, knock on wood, I've never been stung.
Yeah. Honeybees are very, very, very docile. So unless you're attacking their home, they're not going to come after you. Actually, even when I do yard work, digging right next to their hive, and they're like literally like an inch or two from my face, and I'm digging and sweating and working and clinging, they don't bother me. They don't come next to me. My kids too. We have this routine, like even when it was a little bit nicer weather, before it started raining every morning. Every morning before the kids got ready to go to school, as we're getting into the vehicle to get to the bus stop, we go and we check on every hive, and our faces are, right at their entrance where there's like 50 bees, and our faces are right there. We pick them up, like they walk in our hands. All of our beauties they're good. They're good. They're very docile. Now you are responsible for a lot of lives, of course. So you want to make sure that you're your best self and you stay on top of them. You have to do hive inspections every week to 10 days, and you have to treat them to make sure there's no, mites, infestations, or anything like that. So there's work associated to it, but harvesting the honey is very rewarding.
I love honey.
Oh my goodness, girl, I have to bring you some, because honestly,
Yes.
and when it's freshly harvested and raw, there's nothing like it. It's nothing like the synthetic honeys on the shelves in the grocery stores. It's very different.
Oh my gosh.
It's been, it's work, but it's fulfilling. To me, it's been fulfilling. And my daughter now says when she grows up, she wants to be a beekeeper as her purpose. Yeah.
That is so sweet.
Yeah. She understands the, what's happening with the bee population, right? And if the bee dies, we die within a couple of years after, right? So they are very important to our overall habitat, right? But yeah, so random.
So sweet. I love how you went from 3 kids to 500,000 plus your 3 kids.
500,000 plus now we have a fur baby.
Well, there you go. What else do we have? It's actually interesting that you were talking about bees. So with Scott Don Brown, we have another podcast on his YouTube channel, which is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, and we're talking with our guest last Sunday. We were talking about bees and how Scott used to literally sit next to wasps and get attacked by them just because it was on his face and he stopped it. But anyways, it's just so funny how like this is happening and he's watching and we were talking about it. But anyways. Chanel says, now that you're a queen, what is one takeaway that you want the others to get from your reign? Ooh, that's a great question.
The next queens or the delegates? I'm so sorry.
So now that you're the reigning queen, what is something, okay, let's rephrase that. What is one thing that essentially your legacy that you want to leave with your title during your reign?
That I really made a difference, I think. The sash and the crown has given me a bigger voice and more visibility. But at the end of the day, I think, some people might want just to do pageants because they love pageantry and they love competing, and it helps them build confidence, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I love it, and power to you. For me, my aim has always been making impact in the world. So in my reign, if I can leave a legacy, would be that I've done exceptional work during my reign, and I was able to make a big impact, make a big difference. My next larger project is to help veterans across Canada, which would save the government. I calculated it to be like $503 million annually if I get this across, and that would also be saving veterans that much money as well on a collective front, and also providing high school students with life experience. So for me, I aim to do big moves, and if I was to, let's say, win internationals, my focus might direct more towards human trafficking efforts, where that I've already reached out to like national levels to be a voice for them as well. But yeah, it's to be making impact. That would be my legacy. If I could have my choice, yeah, it would be that.
Well, you're already making moves, like I said, 2 months into your new title, and you've already made a huge impact on just one community. I can only imagine what it would be like for the rest of your reign. And with Remembrance Day coming up, I think this movement that you are working towards is huge. And again, thank you for the service that you've done for our country. And I'm guessing one of your kids wants to say hello.
Yeah, she just keeps, I asked her this, yeah, Remembrance Day coming up. It's definitely it's a larger day. I've been asked to partake in the ceremonies again. So I'm honored to do so, to be accepting the wreaths, on behalf, that's always a big honor for me. I'm so sorry. I heard about 60% of what you said. You had asked.
No worries. No worries. No worries. This is what happens on our show. We have beauty queens of all walks of life. We've had moms on this show. We've had dogs on the show. We've had kids on the show. I mean, it happens. It's life. That's fine. But I'm really curious. So you mentioned your daughter a little bit and how she wants to be a beekeeper. But has she shown any kind of interest in the beauty queen side of you now? Or is it still just beekeeper side?
Oh no, she every day, Mom, I'm gonna be a pageant and I'm gonna have a crown like you. She wants to enter this year. I heavily considered it, so we started practicing a little bit with her walk and answering questions, and I'm confident in terms of interview she would shine. She gets shy at times, so she's like her mama. But she definitely has the bug, especially we've watched now on YouTube several times over the junior division pageants, and she's like in awe the whole time, and she's like, she pauses it and she'll run to the front and she tries to practice her walk.
Oh my goodness.
Mom does her twirl, and she knows to keep eye contact now, so she's always posing, and she definitely got that bug in her, so I definitely am considering putting her in this year. I didn't want to take on too much because I have that extreme, I'm always taking on way too much, so that's why I was kind of trying to weigh out my options. But
how old is she? Nice.
She's 5.
So she'll be like the little miss.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that'd be so cute. She's close to Nezzy?
Yeah, they're best friends.
Oh my god, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, for her to, I guess, Nancy is competing this year, so that could be something she does with her best friend.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
You might have just sold this year.
Sold! I love that.
But, it helps build their confidence and build friendships and to build all of that, the experiences, the memories, all of it. So it doesn't matter, I guess any age, it'll be beneficial to anyone. It did wonders for me. So how could I expect it not to do amazing work for my daughter? So yeah, sold.
I love that. Well, okay, let's talk about it. So things that you've gained from Galaxy. This was your first pageant. You come from the military. Okay, first off, what is the difference? And I love asking this question because everyone answers it differently. What was it like for you, I guess, being in the military and predominantly with men versus going into pageant weekend with all these different women?
That's such a good question. I think we all have 2 parts of ourselves, or maybe more. For me, like I said, the bigger part of me is more masculine, I guess, masculine traits. So in the military, I very easily conformed, and I was able to blend in, and everything just made sense to me. My demeanors, my way of speaking, I was built more for that, I think, initially. I've grown since then 100%. With the guys, there's cliques in big groups of guys as well. So, I fell in line to where I belonged, and, so that wasn't too different. Being a female in a male-dominated area, that's had its own set of challenges that I'm sure any female could already have in their minds right now. So that's good experiences in that regard. Overall, definitely it helped build more resilience. It helped me build more character. It gave me a voice to speak up for myself a little bit more towards the end.
Good.
yeah, sometimes I felt less heard, or less understood, and going into the sisterhood, I mattered. And, everybody was in tune with everybody's emotions, and everybody would detect when we were having a stressful moment or we were having an
Mm-hmm.
error out. Women are just more in tune, and women are just more understanding and compassionate, and they're there. So where, with men, when I was having a little freak out, like internally, because, I was exhausted from not sleeping for 2 days or whatever, and the work was a little too heavy, they would laugh you off and tell you to toughen it up, or they would put it all, that's why females shouldn't be in the forces. So I always had something to
Oh.
prove, and I always had to be tough, and I couldn't let any cracks show. But with
Mm.
women, they embraced it. You guys all embraced it during that weekend. You guys, everyone was there for each other. I saw some women, crying, and they were there supporting one another. And I saw women, practicing until their feet were killing them just to help one another. And everybody was there to pep each other up. Everybody was like, "Oh, I'm terrified of being on stage on a swimsuit or whatever." And everybody's like, "Oh my God, shut up! You'll do amazing. So great." It's almost like being at a bar with girls, like that drunken talk. "You're so beautiful. No, you're." But this was the whole weekend.
We were all sober, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what I mean. The whole weekend, it was just empowerment, and it was love for one another, and it was supporting one another. Where I honestly thought, like in movies, women are pushing each other off the stage, just so that they get a better spotlight. It wasn't like that at all. It was true sisterhood. Even when every second counted, everybody still took a moment to make sure one another was good.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody supported one another, like I said, and every woman was embracing one another and supporting one another through our ups and downs, and when we were feeling a little insecure, or, it was just such a different, you can completely be vulnerable and feel safe in doing so with that group
Mm-hmm.
of women, and that would have never happened in the forces.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that, you were, one, able to find your voice at the end of it and stand up for yourself and stand up for the other woman in the military. But then you're also now here in the pageant world and still shine and still be yourself. And you mentioned, getting your pilot's license. First and foremost, I'm jealous. I mean, what was it, like the day after our photo shoot? This girl is sending us videos in an airplane that she's flying. Like, what do you not do? Like, can I ask that? Like, is it okay to ask? What do you not do? You're a book. You're an author, right? Or you've been in a book. You are a mom. You are a veteran. You're a beauty queen, a beekeeper, an entrepreneur, a social media influencer, essentially. Like, what do you not do?
I don't know.
Do you,
Up until 2 months ago, I didn't do pageants. I don't know.
there you go. But now you do.
I don't know. I've in that regard, I've always, if there was a skill I didn't know, I wanted to learn it. So I taught myself electrical and plumbing. I've built homes now. I frame. I do roofing. I do flooring and tile work. I do cabinet installs and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know if there's something I don't know, and I don't spend hours watching TV. TV has never been a thing of mine. So I have self-help books and growth and mindset growth books, and I love learning new skill sets. For me, that's my passion. I love music, so I learned bachata and salsa dancing, and I think it's just I think if I stay stagnant too long, I start to feel down, and so I constantly have to feel like I'm growing and moving, and something's I'm stepping into a new me. Every day I try to improve in one way or another, or learn a new skill set.
So there's a sorry, I did not mean to cut you off. There's a person that we met, a author that we interviewed on the Sit Down with Scott, and the one thing that he said to me, and I think this is going to stick with you, is essentially you are a student of life. You like to learn things. You like to basically go with the flow and go with what life brings you.
Love that. I love that so much. Yeah, that'll stay for sure.
Add it to your bio.
I love it. I am a student of life. I love it.
There you go. There you go. I love it. Well, before we start to wrap things up, actually, before I start to wrap things up, another question from Chanel in the live chat. She goes, "What is your favorite phase of competition?"
What was my favorite phase?
Yeah. So, did you like swimwear more? Do you like evening gown, fashion wear, interview? I know not
Interview was
photogenic.
terrifying
No, I'm
for me.
kidding.
It was
Was
terrifying,
it?
and it was just a conversation. But and then I think fashion wear was the funnest because it was, gown. I think I didn't have it down right yet, maybe. So I didn't know how slow I was supposed to walk and how much movement I was supposed to do. I am confident in running in heels. So, running or walking fast a little bit was maybe more my tempo. Being in swimwear, I was all in here going, don't breathe out.
Oh my
Don't
gosh.
let out your gut.
Stop.
And you're like, so, I'm the type of person that's wearing shorts and a t-shirt at a beach. Even at a beach, if I'm in a swimsuit, I'm still wearing stuff over top. So being on stage, knowing it was going to be on YouTube and on social medias and, things like that, it was something.
Girl,
So
you
in my
look
head,
amazing. Okay, people, after today's episode, please go to the Canada Galaxy YouTube channel and find the Ms. Division and watch how this girl slays it in swimwear. Okay, I remember being backstage because I had just finished. I ran backstage and I saw you and you're like, "Do I look okay?" And I'm like, "Yes." And remember, you've had 3 beautiful children. Your body has gone through it and more, and you look stunning. Okay? Just saying.
you know when you try to lift your swimsuit to try to tuck in any rolls or extra skin? That's what I was doing back there for anybody that cares to know.
Girl, I wore high-waisted. I wore high-waisted for a reason, okay?
Oh yeah. If you have kids or anything, yeah, it's definitely but yeah, no, fashion wear, I think, because then I still got to exude my personality and have fun on stage with heels, be confident in that regard. Like I said, I could run in heels. I'm confident in heels, but it was fun music. I got to have fun, do a couple of little spins. And I had that little cape type thing. So I got to play with that. You never get to wear a cape, So
I mean, you can.
Yeah, right. It says we can't. Guess what I'm wearing tomorrow?
A cape. Or swimwear. I don't know which one. Or both.
Goodness. Yeah, so I think fashion wear was definitely my most my favorite point. So next year at internationals, I'm definitely going to have a more galaxy fitting fashion wear that will definitely also have a cape. But it was my favorite. It was the most fun. I felt the most confident and the most relaxed. I didn't overthink, keeping my stomach tucked in. I didn't overthink anything else. I was just out there and I doing some twirls, having fun. That was definitely my favorite part for sure.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I cannot wait to see where you go with the rest of your title and to see your Instagram page grow. I love going back to your Instagram now that you have the Ms. Galaxy Instagram page and seeing how much you've done with it. And it was my baby for 2 years, and to be honest, I cried when I logged out of it for the last time. But I'm really glad that you've continued to grow the title, grow the page, grow the system altogether. So I do apologize for all the tagging that I've been doing because it's just from Ms. to Mrs.
Love it. No, oh my gosh. I mean, like you said, you had that account and that following for 2 years. People got to know your face and your brand and who you are as a person, and they became your friends. So even when I stepped into it, it was all people that I didn't know.
People are my friends and family probably like, what the hell? Who is this?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it was, I love, you set a good example because I didn't know how to be honest with you, I didn't know that we would be taking on social media accounts. I had no clue. So when she was like, here's your login, I was like, what?
I didn't want to give it up. I was like, no. I wanted to change the password so Cindy couldn't log in and change it. I'm like, no, it's mine. But it's not. It's not. But it's in good hands, and that's all I care about.
Appreciate that. No, you definitely did a lot of You honestly, you're like, you were and still are, like, you guide me a lot, like, during holidays that are coming up, or even like random posts. If it's not an appearance, I'll look at some of your previous posts and I'm like, okay, so
Oh
you're
gosh.
guiding me. You don't even know it, but you're still guiding me.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am just a message away, honestly. You have my number. You can call me whenever. I love the Galaxy system enough that I've been here since 2018 and I'm still here in 2021. So you can always give me a call, reach out, whatever it might be. Sarah Edmonds is in the chats. She says, "Hi, ladies." Hi.
We were just talking about you, girl. Well, not just. We were talking about your photos just a little bit ago.
Stunning. Yes. Well, there's so many Galaxy girls who have been watching this show, who have been on this show, and I'm just glad that we were finally able to make it happen and you come on the show. So Natalie, now that we are starting to officially wrap things up, is there anything you'd like to say to everyone tuned in today?
Yeah, actually. Honestly, one of the consistent messages that I've been doing since I won the crown, I'm hoping, my hopes for Canada Galaxy Pageants and just Galaxy Pageants as a whole, as an entity, I really hope that it's something that gets a broader demographic, not just girls that were predispositioned, enrolled in pageantry since they were kids and they just grew up to love pageantry. I really hope that one day Galaxy Pageants and Canada Galaxy Pageants hits a new demographic where we see more skilled girls in more skilled trades, and girls from the military, and girls with stronger backgrounds, or girls that might not feel that they are fitting to be in a pageant like myself. I really hope, so if you're somebody that's watching this and you don't have a pageant experience, or you don't think that it's for you, and even as I'm saying this, if you're still going, yeah, but whatever but follows and whatever you go in your head, I would honestly hope that you really do take a second glance, or you re-question the idea of joining, just because it was an incredible experience for me, honestly. It was my turning point to finally gaining a little bit more confidence. It was my starting point to, start to maybe look at myself a little differently. It was only after, I don't want to say only after, but after seeing that other people had faith in me, or believed in me, it was after that I started a little bit more. It was a little bit the kickstart to my journey of a little bit more self-acceptance and self-love, and maybe I need to see myself more as other people see me, because I didn't have that before. But yeah, like a bigger, broader demographic, whether you're in like stronger sports and stronger, skilled trades, or your military background, or you're just a straight up tomboy, or you don't feel, as though you might look the part. There is no looking part in the Galaxy Pageants. They're all accepting of every but that this, if you're like, but I have extra weight, or but I'm too skinny, or but I'm this, or but I'm not that, or all butts aside, Galaxy Pageants could honestly be for you. Incredible for any person. Yeah.
And with that said, you just posted a video this past week on the official dates for the Canada Galaxy Pageants of 2022.
Yeah, that was so exciting. Yeah, we just had our 3rd year birthday.
Yes, we
did. It was announced that Canada Galaxy Pageants 2022 will be held September 23rd to 26th in Toronto, and I am so darn excited because it's my birthday.
Oh my gosh, really?
September 23rd is my birthday.
Okay, so noted. I'm literally going to put it on my phone right now so I don't forget, just so people are wondering why I'm on my phone. Edit, add birthday.
Yeah, September 23rd. So I'm going to get to celebrate, though, with my Galaxy Pageant, family, and, all of these women, and have that that humbling experience again. It's going to be on my birthday, and I'm going to get to celebrate so much more than, the new reigning queen. I'll get to celebrate my birthday with you. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Well, I've noted it. I won't forget. I'll be there as well, I think. Cindy hasn't said anything. I think I'm going to be there. If not, I'm in Toronto as well. So I will definitely see you for your birthday. But Natalie, thank you so much for, opening up so much of your story with us. And this is why I love doing this show. It gives you a chance to open up about your platform, who you are, and for you to become so vulnerable with our audience and share your story. I love that. And you kind of gave everyone another reason to make you one of their favorite beauty queens. So thank you for that.
I appreciate that, Jean. Honestly, I appreciate I appreciate you allowing me the time and asking me, and it was an honor. I was slightly mortified because, again, speaking in front of people is but I was excited at the same time, and just to share our messages and to be able to have that conversation, and if it gets to help somebody else out, I'm happy to as well. So yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for everything. And yeah.
Well, you're very welcome. I'm really happy that we got to do this. I've been wanting to get the new queens on the show, but I'm like, no, I need to start with you because, from Ms. to Ms., we got to do this together. It's so weird because I have the new title, but I still feel like a Ms. And I feel like the two of us have bonded because of that, and I'm so grateful. And I can't wait to see what you do with your title, and you're making not just myself but also all of your runner-ups proud. So keep doing what you're doing, girl.
Thank you so much. It is funny to see, you were definitely the person I admired out of all the queens. And then during the pageants, I must have clung on to you because I was like, I felt safe with you. And then you crowned. And throughout, you were the one that was like, be confident, girl. You got this. You have to believe in yourself. Yes. And then
I'm the hype woman. Here we are.
You are. I love it.
Here we are. I love it. Well, we still have the rest of the year to go, so imagine how I'm going to be at internationals when we go together and be like, you got this, girl. Don't worry.
And I'm become much more prepared.
There you go. On that note, Natalie, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit more, and thank you again for sharing your story with all of us. One last time, where can people find you on social media?
Well, Natalie Bourgin, or Ms. Galaxy Canada. If they wanted to find or look up YQG Cares to see what we're all about, YQG Cares is also on Facebook and Instagram, or yqgcares.net. We are redoing my website, nataliebourgoin.com, but it's going to be rebranded and re-released within the month, I believe. So we'll be able to look for that as well in the future, just not yet.
Coming soon.
Coming soon, yes.
Awesome. Well, again, those links will be in the description after today's show. And if all of you who tuned in enjoyed today's episode, make sure you give this video a huge thumbs up. If you enjoy all things pageantry, make sure to subscribe to this channel, as we do go live every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for more episodes of the Pageant Sit Down. Natalie, again, thank you so much for being an amazing guest. I've had so much fun talking to you tonight. And everyone else, we will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much.